Hi everyone, I'm Soraya Rhea, and I am going to review Married at First Sight Season 9. Dum dum da dum. Yes, it is back. First of all, I almost missed it. Shout out to my girl Evelyn for calling me and letting me know that it was on. But yeah, I didn't realize that it was coming back so soon. I feel like we're still getting over the trauma of Luke. Okay? There better not be a Luke on this season. All right. Yes. So Married at First Sight is back, and they are in Charlotte, North Carolina. Right. It's North Carolina, right? Not South, right? North Kakalaki? I think so. Okay. Married at First Sight, when Married at First Sight started back in, I don't know, it was 2014, 2015 or something. It came on it wasn't even on Lifetime. It was on FYI Network. That was first season with Jamie Otis and her husband. And they were in the New York area. And, so I remember watching that season. And like, we were all like, what is this crazy show? Like, what is this new, reality show about love and finding love or whatever? But like, everybody was like watching like, what's gonna happen? But okay, so like, this is what I really feel, right? My real self, my entertainment self. My real self is I'm constantly shocked and surprised that people sign up for the show. I mean, it is a kind of like a world phenomenon, right? Like, they have, so Married at First Sight has, like, they have it in Europe. They have an Australian version. Well, let me stop. I don't know where the show started. Maybe it started in Australia. Maybe we stole it from them, or maybe we got it from Europe, like we do all of our shows here in America. But whatever. Regardless, it is such a huge show now that like they just continue to get thousands and thousands of applicants. When it comes to reality shows in general, outside of like things like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and things that I would feel comfortable attaching my name and my reputation to, it's like I can't understand that people really would sign up for something like this, and then that they can that they have family members who are actually in support as well. Like, it shocks me. I mean, these are people with like intact families whose parents, well, even if they're not intact, like, but like whose parents are just like, okay, even if they think like, all right, well, I mean, I wouldn't do it that way, but that's cool. Hey, hope it works out or whatever. I'm shocked. There's no way. I mean, I just know. I mean, that wouldn't work for, that wouldn't work in my household. But, it just shocks me. I mean, just to have just the whole, your whole life, it's just for everybody to see, but I mean, I know I am watching, but yeah, so it's always shocking. And that's what we see here. Like, pretty much the families, they're just all like in support. Like, nobody is like saying, no, don't do this, you're an idiot, even like the dads, their daughters are just like, really, like, you're okay with this? Like, anyway. All right. So right off the bat, like, I feel just something in my spirit. I feel like it's going to be 50-50. It's going to be two couples that are going to stay together and then two that won't. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I could be wrong. I don't know which two. I mean, I kind of have a sense of what, but I won't say that now because we really don't know anything about them. Like, we just know on paper. We know their resumes and stuff. So we don't know personalities really and what they do and how they treat each other. So generally we can easily be surprised, after a couple episodes. But I just, something feels, I was like, 50-50. Oh, so that was the other thing too. I'm like, oh, they're going with 4 couples again? Like, originally with that first season, like, it was just 3 couples. And I feel like most seasons have been that way, right? I know they went for 4 for Philly, but it was 3 for Boston, right? So I'm like, they went with 4 again. But I was happy. I was like, because it got 2 black couples again. Yes. And let me just say this, okay? I'm like, yo, is Charlotte? Do we gotta go to Charlotte Sisters? Like, they done show these black men reading the word at that. And, they got their education. They're not man-child like how Keith was last season in Philly. They got their stuff together. They working with the youth. Woo! I'm like, just right off the bat, you got a date, bruh. You got a date. So I don't know. Let us know. Anybody in the comments, let me know. Is Charlotte the place to go and get are the brothers all right there? But then I'm also wondering, like, but then these guys are saying that they're having a hard time finding girls. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let me just get into it. So it's not the biggest episode. It's basically the episode where, you know, the contestants are chosen and then they have to let their families know that they've been chosen for Married at First Sight and they're going to marry a stranger in 10 days, essentially, or 2 weeks. So that's basically the whole episode. And 2 of the couples got married by the end of the episode. So you see them getting married. You see them making the preparations for their wedding, picking out their dresses, picking out their suits, and, you know, I guess getting last minute advice from friends and family. So let's get right to the couple. So first we have Deonna, who's 30, and Greg, who's 32. So Deonna, she's real cute. So, you know, like every person, like the show is giving them like, you know, something that they are known for, I guess, at least at the beginning. So she's going to be known as the 10-year single girl, right? So her thing was, okay, let me just get into her profile real quick. So yeah, she's been single for 10 years, but she's a homeowner. She's an operations manager. She doesn't say like what company she works for, like what exactly she does operations wise. Like, what does that mean? I don't know. But we do know that about her. She said she wants a godly man who is smart and educated, who loves Jesus and is involved in church and is passionate about something. And I'm like, like, isn't that what we all want, sisters? Yes. So yes. And so, okay. So then she explains why she's been, single for 10 years. She said that she dated her high school sweetheart for a time and perhaps they broke up like mid-college, like in the middle of college. But she said it just did not end well. They did not end up treating each other well. And, she just said that she doesn't ever want to experience that again. So she pretty much put up walls to protect herself. And then, of course, that kept her from letting people in and for being open to a relationship, which then she realized, okay, well, then that's not going to work because she does want to be with somebody. She wants a companion. She wants to be married. So she realized she, I guess, worked on herself for a couple of years. She said she dated herself. She said she traveled, got life experiences, and she's ready for commitment now, but she wants the help of the experts. So, yeah, so that's her big story. I mean, I think she's cute. I think she's real cute with her like natural hair and her little bun, and you know when she wears it out and like puffy, it's real cute. But yeah, she tells her family, you know, she's got her parents and then I think it's just a younger sister, so they're just like a cute, just typical kind of normal family or whatever. And and she lets them know, and of course they have to do the obligatory what oh my gosh, you know, that's crazy. But you know, she tells them and then they're just like, all right, cool, we're here to support you. And she goes and finds her wedding dress, and which is really cute, nice and flattering. And then her mom just gets really emotional and like crying and stuff. So again, like that's where I'm just like, yo, so like you're like okay with this, mom? Like for real? Like so then you're really treating this like it's her real marriage, which it is. I know it's a legal binding marriage, as Pastor Cal always reminds us. Only, you know, dissolvable by divorce. So yeah, anyway, so Deonna then is matched with Greg, who's 32. So Greg, he owns a math learning center, and I think that that's the tag that they gave him. So he's not really, I'm like, okay, so that's the most interesting thing that they could have come up with him. He owns a math learning center. Yes. He has been single for 2 years, and the issue was that he was previously engaged, but he said that it didn't work out and the Lord had other plans for him. But then at one point he did say something about like it was toxic, or they were toxic to each other or something. So I was like, okay, like what exactly happened there? But he, you know, said he's ready, you know, and definitely wants to be married, but, you know, is obviously looking for help from the experts. Now, look, okay, wait, let me finish up with him and then I'll give my opinion. So he said his faith is very important to him. He is a Christian. He believes in Jesus. He's reading his Bible. He said he's in his word, doing his daily devotion every day. And he expects that of his wife as well. And he said he's looking to grow in his faith and, really grow and develop in his faith, and recognizes that he's not perfect, but, he wants, he said he's active in his church, so maybe he's the deacon, maybe the head of the ushers board or something. But he definitely is looking for that as well. Now, what I will say is, this is my question. I'm like, look, I'm not speaking in absolutes here, but I'm like, what church, what Black church at that, doesn't have like single Black women that would fit your like what you're looking for, unless maybe his ex-fiance is from his church. So now he's like, all right, he's not looking at the church. But I'm like, look, we know that when it comes to numbers, okay, like there's more females in the church than men. And then particularly when it comes to like, when you're looking for a peer and somebody who is, has similar interests, similar background, when it comes to education, when it comes to outlook on life, and, obviously part of it too, which I'm pretty sure this is probably an unwritten rule when it comes to Married at First Sight, is that, as far as I know, nobody's ever had children, right? So like, that's kind of like it too. So, like things like that, which look, everybody has different backgrounds and all that stuff or whatever. But as far as I know, yes, none of these people are previously married. They don't have children or whatever, So I'm just like, really? You need help, but maybe, I don't know. So, not faulting him for that, but it just makes me wonder. I'm like, come on. Like, I just feel like it's more of a struggle for the sisters. So at one point he's on the phone telling his mom that he's getting married to a stranger. His mom, Black mama, done straight up like played us sisters, talking about, but what if you don't know if she's, pretty or ugly? Okay, fine. Ha ha ha. But then she was like, but what if the lady's 35? Okay, mom, yeah. And mind you, thank you, Greg. Greg's answer was like, then she's 35. And she was like, yeah, but then you don't want somebody too old so then she can't have kids. It just made me feel like, real self, it just made me feel like, wow, just how quickly somebody can really just be discarded and devalued, Look, everybody has their preferences, because at that same instance, it's like, okay, well, that's all right. Some of us want somebody with a bachelor's or even a master's degree. Some of us want somebody who makes at least this amount of money. Some of us want somebody who's never been married, who does not have children or whatever, So that. But I feel like a lot of times, oh girl, I'm getting too deep. I'm getting too into it. I'm just supposed to be introducing y'all. So, all right. So sometimes some of us, when we reach a certain age, we could just be discarded. Okay, all right. Well, but then it's like, all right, well, but then sometimes we get heat for some of the things that we want. Moving on. All right. So Pastor Cal thinks that they're going to be the next power couple. I'm hoping. Okay. So actually, let me move forward and talk about because they are one of the couples that got married. So the only thing I didn't like their wedding was cute. I think Deonna is cute. She seems really bubbly and like, and maybe she's doing that a little bit more because she's nervous, but I like that, she was like joking. She was like being like very jokey and open or whatever. He said that he thought that she was beautiful as she was walking down the aisle. I think she said she thought he was handsome as well. But then when they went off on their own after they got married and they just spoke for a little bit. So one of the things she shared right off the bat, which I'm like, why though? But whatever. But again, it's her label right now, 10 years single. So she was like, well, I haven't really dated anybody or I've been single for 10 years. And then he's like, and then I love how she kept it real and confronted him. She was like, I sense the judgment. Don't judge. But she kept it light like that. But then she gave her explanation as to why. But of course, in his interview, he has to say, he's like, that was kind of concerning. Or like, I'm just like, is this person ready for a commitment? Is this person ready for whatever? And I'm like, okay, wait. First of all, I think you're more of a risk, sir, who's been um you know, engaged before. And there's nothing wrong with being engaged and then, deciding, you know what, this is not going to work out, because I think that then that's a mature thing to do, right? Outside of other people who think like, I can't stop. I can't, I have to keep, move forward with everything. We've already told everybody that we're engaged, whatever, and can't call it off. No, that's smart. If you realize that it's not going to work out, right, stop it. But but to me, it still kind of puts you a little bit more at risk than somebody like her, who's, to me, I mean, she's not single. Well, first of all, she explained why she was single, but like, it's not that she was single because people were like, whoa, running away from her, like, this definitely was a choice, and again, something that she did to protect herself or whatever. But of course, she's ready for a relationship. What about you, sir? What about you that is saying that you're ready for a relationship because you were able to get engaged? So I don't know. I didn't really like that. I don't really like that. So when he came out with that, I could be wrong. Maybe he's gonna be really, really nice. There was something not arrogant, but something like, I don't know. I almost sense in some way he might be hard to please in a sense, almost Will-like from last season. So I hope not, because to me, Deonna's coming off as real easy and that she wants this and is ready. And again, I feel like just profile alone, yes, I can see why they were matched. And I think that they should and could be a good power couple, as Pastor Cal said. All right, so let's move on. So then we have Iris, who's 27, and Keith Jr., who's also 27. Okay, so here's the big deal, right? So she gets labeled the 27-year-old virgin. So at first, when they introduced her, I was like, wait a minute, has Married at First Sight not had a virgin before? And I had to think about it. I was like, no, of course not. Like that, I definitely would have remembered. Well, mind you, I have not watched all the seasons, so let me just put that out there. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't the case, and that she's probably lucky number one. So of course, that's going to be her label until she gives up her V card, which may or may not happen during this season, because we know that not every couple has sex. So this is another like religious couple. She's said that she's, waiting till marriage. She wants to have, she believes that sex, is the place for sex is in marriage. And she's waiting, but she needs help from the experts because she's kind of tired of meeting guys who are not willing to be patient with her and just not willing to give her the time of day. She seems so cute, and she's got her natural hair too. Like, I really like her. She works, I think, for the Boys and Girls Club. So she's working for the youth. She, I guess, is a musician because they show her playing the piano. And yeah, so then that's, again, there was nothing else really huge that they shared with her. Again, I'm just like, wow, these are kind of like normal-ish people. Like, there's nothing really big or whatever, about them. And so now she goes with her mom to go shopping for her wedding dress. And so this is kind of one thing I was like, oh goodness, this ain't gonna come off right. She wants a white dress. White! I mean, white. Like, that ain't white enough, She says, not eggshell, not bone. She's like, I want the whitest white dress. So I'm like, okay, style-wise, but I'm like, don't say it. And she was like, yeah, because, I want my dress, my dress is going to represent, my purity. Like, it's going to stand for my purity or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay, yes. I mean, first of all, didn't we all learn like some years ago that white wedding dresses came into like a thing when there was some issue years ago? When I say years ago, I'm talking about like back in the days. It's like, other centuries, 1800s, 1700s, I don't know how far back, but that like, I don't know, something with dyed cloth, something was happening, right? And it didn't work out, or people weren't able to get dyed cloth. And colored cloth, dyed cloth, is more expensive, or was more expensive than white undyed fabric, But then the value essentially got changed, or maybe somebody was like, oh, then we could also make this be like will represent whether you're a virgin or not, you know? So then that became a thing or whatever. But then definitely in recent years, like any and everybody is wearing, people are wearing off-white, people wearing white. Like it doesn't matter. Like right now it's really just about style. Like nobody wears it, even though some people may have a particular reason and say, oh, well, I know that I'm wearing white because I am a virgin or I, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know, but any and everybody wears white, but then a lot of people wear, you know, off-white. And then of course with a lot of the lace options that they have these days, some of them come in like the kind of the off-white and all those different shades as well. So, you know, for the most part, it's really just about style. But the dresses she picked out, beautiful, really beautiful. And actually it really does look really gorgeous in white. And then she took it a step further because she was like, you know, I wonder if my husband, when he sees my dress, if he will know the reason behind it, like just from seeing the dress. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I'm sure I'm going to be talking about this more as the season goes on, but I'm like, I do have a problem when purity gets pigeonholed to just mean wait until you're married to have sex, being a virgin, you know, at your wedding, or that it really just be about sex, you know, intercourse, you know. And so I really hope that she has a deeper understanding of purity as God in the Christian faith, you know, sees it, and that, you know, it's not just about them. Because then when you start having sex, then what? Where does purity go then? You know, then what is pure? You know, I don't know. So I feel that it's a little, it just makes it too much about it, whatever. What I will say is I'm really happy that she was chosen, because I could see that as being a really undesirable candidate for the type of show that it is, right? But I love that the new doctor, whose name I keep forgetting, said that, you know, even though, because Dr. Cal was like, is this a risk that we're taking? Which I was like, really, Dr. Cal? You know, Dr. Cal, you have Ventus, Dr. Cal. I heard you went to Oakwood. But fine, I understand that he's saying for the type of show that it is, right? But I love that the doctor said, but I think that she's so much more than her virgin status, which I'm like, yes. You know, she's like, I think she has so much more to offer. So thumbs up to them. I think that she hopefully will be a really great choice. And then she is, you know, matched with Keith Jr., who is also 27. Keith Jr. is a high school and middle school basketball coach. So I'm a teacher. And like, I love male teachers, and then especially black male teachers. So like these black guys are like, thumbs up to me, like working with the youth, working, you know, in education. I just think that there's such a void when it comes to male, particularly black male teachers, for everybody to see that, like, yeah, like look at what black men can be, you know, but then particularly for black youth and then for black male youth. I think there needs to be so many more educators and, you know, coaches and I mean, yeah, but you know, just leaders in education. So it warms my heart. So he also comes from a religious family. It appears that his grandparents are ministers of some sort, because when he meets with his parents to tell them that he's going to get married to a stranger in 2 weeks, they just like, what? First of all, his parents, very cute couple. They look alike. They look alike, like brother and sister alike, kind of, you know. But that was just something I noticed. I don't know if you guys think that as well, but they were just like, mom was just like, you better talk to your grandparents, you know. And in his interview, he was like, yeah, my grandparents always had my back, so I can't see this happening without their blessing. You know, so I guess they have a real serious influence in his life. And then particularly I can see if they were like pastors and ministers. So it's like, you gonna ruin the family name, you know? So now we have Elizabeth, who is 30 years old, and Jamie, who's 35. So Jamie is the oldest person in this group. So everybody's pretty much like 27, 30, you know? So Jamie, the guy, so he's 35. So Elizabeth is an account executive with her dad's distribution company. And she, I believe, also has been single for 2 years. But she is best friends with her dad. Like, they both call each other best friends. And the dad even said, like, oh, he needs to know that he's coming into already a best friendship. I mean, and it's real to the point where her mom looks like she's the third wheel. So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, her dad had, but they gave her dad more like screen time, because the only, like, the main thing that her mom said, or that she even looked to her mom to even say anything, they just had her mom say, like, well, it's gonna be an exciting journey, you know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's definitely like third wheel. She's just like kind of watching them, like, go back and forth together or whatever. But I just think it's cute, you know. She is the youngest, I think, of 5, because I think the mom said that she had three daughters who were already married and then a son. So she's the last one to get married, and the youngest. Yeah. So Dr. Pepper noted that they won't be an easy couple for some reasons. I'm trying to remember what they were, but again, so that makes me kind of concerned. Like, oh, so the thing with like Married at First Sight is like, again, I know that they want good TV, but a lot of times, like, I'm just like, why would you pick this person? For example, Luke should not have been picked from last season. Even Will, you know, and I liked Jasmine's, you know, suggestion is, do not sign up for a show like this if you are not willing to open up, you know? Right, because remember, they didn't sleep together, which again, I'm like, it's okay if you don't, but typically, I could be wrong, but I'm like, the seasons that I've watched, the couples that do not sleep together before the 8 weeks are up, they never stay together. Even though one couple from like the Chicago season, I'm forgetting the name, but like it was like a dietitian and then like the I don't know, personal trainer, or maybe he like owned a gym. She never opened up to sleep with him. But they stayed together at decision day, but then eventually, but a couple months later, they broke up. So, you know, I just, you know, anyway. So, okay, then there's Jamie. Jamie, who's 35, doesn't he look like Larry from 90 Day Fiancé? Larry, who's married to, is his person's name Jenny from Philippines? I think she was from Philippines. All right, not Thailand. No, I think she was from Philippines, right? Larry, weird, like awkward Larry who didn't want to eat her food because said he didn't want diarrhea. Larry, McDonald's manager Larry. Oh gosh. Don't Jamie look like Larry? Bald head, whatever. Bald, I'm sorry. Bald does not, it just does not look that great on men that are not black. Jamie says that he loves his job. He's a technical consultant, you know, but his label is that he's picky. He's Mr. Picky. So he says he has a long list. So he lists she's whatever. You know, I'm not against long lists. If like I have a truly long list when it comes down to it, but I think we all do. But it's like, yes, if we could make our person you know, of course, right? I mean, there's probably things that we'd want to change about ourselves, right? But like, we know that like that true long list doesn't exist. Like, it's like, you know, but my feeling, my gut with Jamie, he ain't ready. I sense a level of arrogance with him, and you know, he kind of comes off as like hard to please. But more so, I just feel like he's just not ready to be committed. I think that he's somebody that will always be distracted by women, who's always going to find other women attractive. Not that you can't find somebody else attractive, but like to the point where he would literally be distracted and probably flirting. And, you know, when it comes down to really being committed and staying committed, I just, you know. But then he calls himself potentially a creepy old guy. I'm like, but you 35, really? 35 is a new creepy old? You know, whatever. So his parents are funny. His dad and stepmom, they're kind of funny. His dad was like, okay, and when did you start taking drugs? That was funny. And his stepmom was like, this is insane. So at least I get those family members who can keep it real and be like, this is dumb. Like, what is this? But in the end, they were just like, well, we support you. We're standing next to you, So we'll see what happens with Jamie and Elizabeth. And then the last couple is Amber and Matt. So Amber, she's a middle school English teacher. They describe her as the tomboy. Her label is the tomboy, which I was not getting that, but she just said that when she was growing up, she was the tomboy because she was not really doing the girly things, I guess, playing with dolls and stuff. And, she was always playing a sport, so, but then I guess, but I'm like, I'm not sure what's tomboy now, but I guess because she really likes sports, so she'll talk about, basketball and stuff, which that's why she's matched up with Matt, because Matt is a recently ex-pro basketball player, but he's like almost ex-pro because I guess he literally stopped his season right now, or did not go to play another season because he decided to do this show. So, again, very superficial match. I really hope that there's something else, because I'm like, what? Because they could talk about basketball, A huge difference that's between them is he is 6'9", I believe. I mean, this guy is huge. He's huge. He's tall. And she is 5'2". I mean, he's over a foot taller than her. I'm going to be honest. I really feel bad for some of the tall chicks out there that really like themselves a tall guy. Like, y'all couldn't find like a nice tall girl to just be able to be like, oh, finally I don't have to worry about somebody shorter than me or just somebody my height, I'm fine with height. I'm not a big deal on height. To me, you just have to be my height or taller, But like, some women really, especially tall women, like they want somebody their height, or definitely, some of them really want tall girls. So, I actually think it's a waste. It's a waste of height for them to put this 5'2" girl, because that's my height, and this 6'9" man. Anyway, but okay, let me finish talking about Amber. So Amber, she was raised by her dad from age 7 and on, because her mom left her family, her and her twin sister. She's a twin, and they are twins. Like, they look like completely the same. She left her to go be with another woman. So, they were raised by her dad, but she says they've definitely had ups and downs, but her mom is involved now. So she says on her wedding day, like, this is a good experience between her and her mom, so she's happy to have her mom there. So there's definitely some healing that has gone on, which is good. And I guess she was even able to be around her dad, which I think, okay, well, that's really great that they were able to come together. And yeah, but you can definitely kind of sense the disconnect, and almost like her mom doesn't really know her in a sense, so I mean, I think that's kind of sad, but yeah. So, but she wants to be with, so Amber just got out of a relationship 8 months ago again. So I guess Mr. Greg would be more comfortable with somebody like Amber rather than somebody who's been 10 years single. But I'm like, 8 months? 8 months? Like, chill. But I get what I'm saying is, because of what the show is, right? You're jumping in, not to a relationship, to get to know somebody, whatever. Like, you're jumping into marriage, So I'm like, you don't think that you need a little bit more time before you plunge into marriage, which you all claim you want to be forever, ever, okay? So, again, experts, really? Now, again, here's the thing. It's not that I think like, everybody needs to have this, and this. But again, I'm like, are you guys really picking the best candidates for the show? Which, to me, I'm like, no, I don't think they often are. I think that they, perhaps want good television, And while they talk about the experts pick, we all know that, like, in the end, the producers get the last say, Her sister noted that because, again, this is... has she learned this from her last relationship? Is she better with this? I don't know. But her sister said that she's really, really sweet. And because of that, she attracts the wrong guys. And her sister said, like, for example, her first boyfriend got her to give him her paychecks. So I guess whatever job she had, She was making money, whatever. I don't know, maybe this was high school or college or something. And, you know, I guess she just giving money and giving money and giving money, you know. So her sister recognizes that this is not a good thing, but she's kind of more so putting the blame on the guy. Again, so are the experts working with her and trying to figure out what's that about? Not so much about the attraction, but like, well, what are you doing? Like, what are things that you need to change for yourself to be your best self, like, and to be a better person and not to be taken advantage of in a relationship? Is she ready to jump in to a marriage? I think not. But when she meets Matt, she is swooning. I mean, she is begging for kisses. Like, after their wedding, you know, like, she's just like, this is the second couple that got married in this episode. She's like, oh my gosh, he is so cute. He is so handsome. And she was like, can I have another kiss? I mean, go ahead, girl. Ask what you want. Okay, so let me finish talking about Matt, right? So Matt, he definitely got that white boy swag. Like, his voice, like, very, like, he got that deep voice, but he got, you know, he got a little swag. He got a little swag. Although, as he walks, probably because he's so big, he kind of is a little bit of a goofy doofus walk, whatever, a little bit. But he cleans up real nice. He looks real nice in his suit and whatever. But he's been playing pro basketball in Europe and Latin America for the last 7 years. But he kind of wants to settle down and he wants a family, and it's kind of like, you know, it's fun, but like, I guess he just, you know, it's hard to date and it's hard to maintain a relationship, obviously, because he's kind of jumping around, I guess, from country to country. So anyway, but the major I guess issues with Matt is that he did not invite his family to his wedding. He also did not tell any of his immediate family members about him signing up for this show and therefore getting married to a stranger. He explains to us that his parents recently divorced. Although I think the recent is like within 2 years, because he said he has not talked to his dad in 2 years. So I kind of sense like maybe he stopped talking to his dad once this divorce, you know, occurred. But he said that he was shaken and they had been married for 30 years. So he also is not inviting his siblings as well. So, but he said he just kind of didn't want, I guess he didn't want their input. He didn't want any drama, you know, on his wedding day and whatever. Okay, I get it, but again, I ask producers and experts, how would he be a good candidate? Like, I understand that everybody's an adult and that you have to make decisions about like, well, this is how I live my life or whatever. And I mean, he's not against family, and he's like kind of wants that to be known, which maybe is kind of why he's being as protective of himself, you know, and of his, you know, future spouse, because I guess of all the drama that he's having with his family. But to me, I mean, that's a serious decision to choose to not let them know. This is not a dating show. This is a marriage show, unless you are not thinking that this is a big deal. Like, you're just like, all right, you know, this is this 8-week experiment. Yes, we get married, but you know, we don't have to stay together, whatever. Unless you have that mindset, which I kind of feel like he does. I think he probably was like, all right, you know what? I just want to stop. I want to settle down, whatever. Let me just sign up for this show. That's kind of what I feel. So I kind of feel like Matt's a wild card. I think Jamie's a wild card too. I think they're shaky regarding the experts' choices. So anyway, so that's pretty much the recap of Married at First Sight season 9, episode 1. So we'll see the rest of the weddings hopefully in the next episode. And so please comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that, you know, Matt's not a good pick? Do you think that, you know, do you think Jamie's ready for marriage? You know, maybe you think that, you know, Ira shouldn't have been chosen because she was a virgin, or maybe Deonna, you know, 10 years, you know, is too risky as well. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like if you like this video, and then of course subscribe if you want to know whenever I'm posting my next video. So thanks for coming on this journey with me, and I'll see you next week.